What's up, guys? I'm the Wrestlegamer. Welcome back to Let's Play Battleship Bishojo right here on the arcade. And on the last episode, well, we were cleaning up the break with Sophie, and the mop kind of got up her skirt, and we saw a little bit. And Sophie let him have it for it. I mean, a punch in the face. But anyway, this was the last line in the last episode, so come in. It's not locked. I opened the door slowly and peered in. She was sitting there, slouching in the chair behind her desk, staring up at the door I was peeking through. The room was completely dark. She had a bottle in hand. Hey, I thought you said there wasn't any. It isn't booze, alright? Kinda wish it was at this point, but... She took a long sip from the bottle and sighed, setting it aside. What do you want now? Just, look. I stepped in, closing the door behind me. It was extremely dark in this room, however. The only light was from the crack in the bottom of the door. Alright, I know I've been like... This isn't easy to explain. Then don't bother. What? If you can't get the words out of your stupid mouth, then don't bother with me right now. You seemed at much higher spirits earlier. I just don't want my crew to worry about me. I'm still not part of the crew, am I? I've known you for less than a week. What do you think? Still haven't done enough? You simultaneously captured and released the Yanchaniko. You broke even. Look, I'm sorry that it got away, but I have to tell you that wasn't what I meant to do. I'm completely aware that you didn't mean to do it. If you did, you would be at the bottom of the ocean by now. Right. We all mess up sometimes, Daiki. But I have my right to be upset, I'd say. Even if it's just for the day and I seem totally normal tomorrow. For now, I just want to be alone. Can you at least do that for me? I think if she wants to be alone, I think we should leave her be. Yeah, sorry. It's fine, just rest for now, alright? Tomorrow's a big day. We're nearing the island of the Fenikitsu. Is that what it's called? It's what I'm calling it. Now, if you'd please. Right. With that, I stepped back outside, letting the door close behind me firmly. I sighed, returning to my quarters, deciding to just sleep the rest of the day off. Wait, I wonder if she would have said something different if we picked the other choice. So, let's see. Alright, let's see. I mean, I was just trying to help, and... Look, you're not doing a good job of it, alright? Honestly, Daiki, can't you tell when to keep your mouth shut? Sorry, Captain. It's fine, just rest for now, alright? Tomorrow's a big day. Okay, yeah. Okay. Alright, I just wanted to see what was different. It had been a while since I dreamt of something in my sleep. Perhaps I'd just been so occupied in my head with all of the developments, and what with the girls and the monsters and being constantly at sea. Although I should have been used to that last one by now. I don't know, those same dreams plagued me once I got onto a ship back when I was in the Navy. I mean, I guess I'm still in the Navy? They probably think I went AWOL or something. I wonder if they're searching for me back there. Romano was probably really freaking out. And I hope he's not blaming himself over my disappearance, drinking himself stupid over guilt. Now that I think of it, I really need to figure out how to get home. Even if I didn't have that many people close to me, there were still those that cared, few as they may have been. And those dreams. Me in the living room watching some random show with my dad on the couch next to me. Always so vivid. Nothing weird ever happened. Nothing dark or sick or twisted or anything like that. Just us on the couch. Me and the man I assumed was my father. Not that I knew that was for sure or anything. That was a whole other dream that seemed to sneak its way in there from time to time. There was a show on TV. An old one. One of those shows that had the really shoddy effects where you could see the strings. buff guys in next to no clothing who go out and fought mythical creatures. A golden robotic owl for some reason. That was an odd touch. And then the whole time my dad and I were just there, sitting in silence, watching the pictures on the screen go by. That's all there was to it. That's all that I ever wanted there to be, really. And then I woke up. I sat up suddenly, wiping the sweat away from my face and sighing. Flipping my legs around to the edge of the bed, I noticed the lights flitting in through the windows nearby. It was probably midday again. I never had a normal sleep schedule at this point. I walked over to the door, wrenching it open and heading up to the main decks. To my surprise, however, they were all there. It seemed as if they were waiting for someone, most likely me. Or just Katsu when she got done steering, one of those. Sophie turned her head and smiled at waving me over. I smiled and stepped into the group. How's everyone doing today? Olivia shrugged in response. I suppose that meant okay to her. Just fine, thanks for asking. It's amazing how a voice can border just on that edge of shrilled so that it doesn't pierce your eardrums. Sophie definitely had that talent going for her. You look like you barely slept a wink. You know, if you ever have too much energy, you can always come by my quarters and wear it out for you. I was actually not aware of that, but I appreciate the offer. Yeah, Miyoko has a whole fitness gym in her quarters, practically. Oh, right, that makes sense, I suppose. And what's that supposed to mean, huh? She winked at me, sticking out her tongue slightly. I grinned and wiped my face a bit, shaking the sleep out of my eyes. So what's on the agenda today? More sailing? Yeah, just a bit. She finally spoke up, taking her eyes off the sea for a moment to look over at me, smirking. We should be on the island of the Finnekisu within a few hours, so be ready. You got it, Captain. She seemed to ignore my blunder and resumed steering. I looked over at the horizon and could see a distinct shape of a land drawing in closer. We were indeed in for quite the adventure today. I could already tell. After an hour or so of sailing, we reached the shore. Obviously, there wasn't a dock to speak of, so we made do, getting as close to land as we could without putting the ship in danger. We lowered ourselves down, climbing tentatively down the side onto the shallow water. Okay. Wow. Before we had left, however, the girls had all changed into something more tropical. Honestly, I felt underdressed as a result. Didn't realize you guys wore more than one kind of outfit, honestly. Did you really think we just had one type of clothes to wear, Daiki? Well, considering I've been around for about a week now, yeah, kind of. She merely shrugged and waved her hand forward. Come on now, no more dawdling. It's a long way to where we need to go. And where's that? She pointed upwards at the top of the mountain. The island was small, and the mountain wasn't very high up, but it still seemed like it was going to be quite the climb. Aw man, all the way up there? If you have any objections, you're more than free to stay behind on the ship. Well, I'm already down here, so... Yay, let's go! Sophie dashed out ahead on the water, splashing everywhere as she got on the shore. Sophie, wait up! It might be dangerous! We all dashed forward and made our way into the thick jungle ahead of us. Katsu took the lead, slashing away at the thick vines and branches that stood in our way. The ground was uneven and coated in foliage, and it was a good thing that I had some thick clothes on. The other ladies, on the other hand, sure was a good idea to wear that kind of stuff. Seems sort of revealing. I don't see why you're complaining, Daiki. It only gives you more to look at. Yoko's chest seems somehow even bigger than before, now that it was free of her nurse uniform. And even while trudging ahead, she managed to give a sexy pose. Add that to the list of her many talents. Well, yeah, that's great and all, but I don't know, aren't you worried about poisonous plants or animal attacks, or... We handle ourselves just fine, Daiki. You don't need to worry so much. Fair enough, I suppose. We continued our march through the thick trees for quite some time until we eventually reached a clearing. In this clearing was the base of a mountain, like a sudden surge of land bursting from the center of the island. The odd thing that there was a decrepit stairway that went around the side of it. Was this, like, inhabited at some point? Yes, Daiki. Once upon a time, this island was populated by an ancient civilization. Primal and brutal, yet kind to their surroundings, they learned to live with the nature they were born into. Until nature became too much for even them. How do you meet? Daiki, look out! Huh? I turned to my side to see a large plant leaning towards me. It was like a Venus flytrap in a vibrant maroon color. Oh, and its mouth was probably larger than me. I moved to the side and out of the way, tripping and falling over onto Olivia. We both grunted as we went down, Olivia merely staring up at me as we laid there. Doing alright there? Yeah, I'd say that could have gone worse. Mind getting off? Oh, right, my bad. We both stood and brushed ourselves off as I could only watch as the plant pulled itself forward, vines pulling out from its stem-like body. More and more it pulled towards us, and I searched for a thing to do. Outrunning it probably wouldn't be that hard, but... Kya! Katsu lunged forward at us, taking a quick slice of the plant creature. It paused for a moment before its head slowly fell from its stem, collapsing onto the ground. The vines waggled and twitched before calming down. Oh, come on, was that really necessary? It's a plant, Daiki. It'll grow back in time. The less things we have out here that want to kill us, the better. Oh, right. I scratched my head for a moment, shrugging before pursuing a different question. So those things happen for some reason? Those and many other creatures like it. We're lucky we didn't come into contact with anything worse. But we still have a long hike to go before we're home free, so get ready. Yeah, this looks like it'll be some climb. And with that, we stepped onto the old stairs. They were a faded white color, and I would have sworn they were made of marble or granite. Some refined stone of sorts, at the very least. This civilization had been at least somewhat advanced to make stairs like these. Some steps were missing as we climbed ever upwards. More and more spots had gaps, becoming more treacherous as we made our way up. Things are getting a bit shaky, don't you think? You can turn back any time, Daiki. Katsu huffed as she stretched her legs outwards to come in contact with the next step, which loomed dangerously a few feet ahead of her. She pulled herself forward carefully when she finally made it to the other side, and she held her hand out, waving us over. Sophie was the first to join her, then the rest of us followed. The climb continued upwards until we reached an opening in the center of the mountain. Cave systems, too? Anything in here that could kill us? Probably. Stay on your toes, all of you. Don't have to tell me twice. We made our way back in, the cave dark, only illuminated from the light outside. Strange glyphs and symbols were carved into the walls from what I could make out. None of it looked familiar to me whatsoever. Do any of you recognize these? Ancient language, dead even by our standards. Both can't translate it, but Olivia can. Sophie announced it at the top of her lungs, causing a great blush to come from Olivia as she slinked to the side near one of the walls. Olivia could read and speak over 5 different languages. Wow, dang, really? That's awesome. Yes, well, I don't necessarily like to brag about it. Why not? It's incredibly impressive, Olivia. I don't know, just, well, whatever. Most of these walls are just telling random stories anyway. Stories, you say? What kind? Well, from what I can make out, stories of valor, strength, even redemption. They seem to be short folk tales from what I can see. You can read them pretty quick. Our language reads like pictures, illustrations representing different ideas and activities. So like hieroglyphs then. She stared at me blankly. The others were cautiously looking around, double-checking for any traps or pitfalls that may be around. Is that a word from where you're from? I guess it is. My bad. No, it's fine. Tell me, what were these hieroglyphics like? Hieroglyphics, Olivia. And they were like from what I was taught in school. They were an ancient language of the Egyptians, another race of people from where I'm from. Oh, fascinating. What came of this culture? Were they still around when you were? In a certain capacity, yeah, of course. Hieroglyphics isn't their method of language anymore, though. At least not normally, anyways. I see. Fascinating. You should tell me more about this. Oh gosh, I don't think I'm the one who should teach you about it. For all I know, everything I just said was completely incorrect. Yeah, that's fine, Daiki. Honestly, we should just talk more about where you're from. It seems so interesting. I honestly didn't take you for an anthropologist. I thought you were like an engineer or something. Well, obviously, yeah, I'm an engineer. I guess I have a fascination with different cultures and such. Never anything I put much thought into. It was always on the side, of course. Still, it's cool that you have an interest in with anything that I'm from. Kind of flattering, actually. Olivia giggled and blushed, turning her attention back to the walls. Her face scrunched up in thought as she looked over at it. Now, hold on a moment. What's this? We have no way of passing through. This whole cave is a dead end. Any idea of what we need to do, Olivia? I might have a clue right here, actually. She brushed her hand across a rough surface, hoping to get the dirt off the indentations that bore ancient inscriptions. She scratched her head for a moment, reading it over before looking over at us. It seems to be an ancient riddle. Simple, but strange. It requires a single answer, and with that answer, it says a path shall be opened. Well, that's easy then. What's the question? Well, it translates roughly to, on this isle rests the vengeful Fenikusu, feared greatly by our people. This creature is mighty and resembles a great... Phoenix? Oh, Daiki, you actually got that right. It's not really that hard, Captain. I was paying enough attention to know what we're after. Fair enough. But now what? Strangely enough, after a moment of silence, the words seemed to set off a sort of sprinkler system within the cave. I mean, obviously there weren't any sprinklers to be seen within the cavern, but that didn't stop water from spraying down onto us whilst in the cavern. Yeah, my nice outfit is getting all wet. Oh, it's just a little water, I think. It is. There's no scent or color to it, but why would saying that word set off this strange sprinkler system? We all looked over to see the other end of the cave slowly cracking open, as if it was melting away. You know, as weird as that is, it's also kind of clever. Oh, I hope we don't have any more of these to do. I hate getting wet. Might want to rethink your phrasing there, Sophie. Hey, mind out of the gutter, Daiki. Yeah, he has a point, though. I know for a fact how much Sophie loves... Yoko, please! Enough, all of you. All we have to do is stand here and wait for the passage to open. Can we not bicker like schoolgirls, please? Well, lighten up, Captain. We can't do much while we're standing here, so we might as well enjoy the weather. He has a point. Yoko smirked and splashed in a nearby puddle, soaking Katsu's ankles. Hey, knock it off. And with that, she splashed back, and I knew exactly where this was going. If you told me that this would turn into some weird tropical wet t-shirt contest, that whole, quote, not sure about this thing from earlier would have never been an issue. I merely laid back and watched, arms behind my head, as the girls giggled and splashed water at each other. Meanwhile, more and more light poured through the cracks of the nearby exit. We all let out a sigh as it finally crumbled away from the rain from above finally letting up. Nobody ever really answered about that whole raining indoors thing actually worked. Do you actually care, Daiki? She asked us while wringing out the bottom of her shirt, and yes, she was right, I didn't. I merely shook my head and shrugged as we began our walk towards the exit and onwards toward our bounty. The stairs continued upwards, clinging to the side of the mountain. It seemed as whoever made them actually carved up the side of the mountain to make them, then put refined blocks of stone in there as steps. It was certainly a marvel to see them. Even if some were missing, it seemed to be because of mudslides that essentially wiped out the entire platform and washed down the mountainside. And with that came our next obstacle. Oh goodness, that's a long gap. Sophie had a point. Usually when a step or two is missing, we could stretch over. Now, there was a solid gap in between where we were and where the next set of steps was. Katsu stood there for a moment, studying the path ahead of us. She looked over to the side of the mountain and grinned, placing a hand against it. Well, it's a good thing mountains are rough surfaces, eh? You can't be serious. What, never been rock climbing before, Daiki? Well, before we get to rock climbing, we're going to go ahead and call it an episode. If you guys like this video, be sure you slam this like button. Like a champion, if you guys want to see more of Battleship Bishojo right here in the arcade, you know the two ways you got to do it. Got to link up the subscribe button and hit that bell icon to turn on notifications so that way you guys will never miss out on another video right here on my channel. So with that being said, I'm your friendly neighborhood Wrestlegamer, reminding all of you guys out there, stay awesome. Bye, guys.